Recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Scott.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good to have you, Chairman. First of all, I want to make a couple of points very clear. I represent the great state of Georgia. I love Georgia. And when this news first came to me, my staff reported it. I immediately wanted to do all I could to make sure that we would be able to make sure that out of this, that after this, Equifax would be standing tall, that they would be clean. That is my objective as the congressman from Georgia, because as you said, you represent a legacy of our great state. You are a 128-year-old company. You employ 20, 30,000 people, many of whom are my constituents, many of whom who work and toil in the vineyards at your company, and they are great people doing a great job. It is important for the American people to know that what we have before us is a despicable, a shameful situation for 145 million American citizens to lose the privacy of their Social Security number and all of that. But let it be known that it is the top management, it is you who's responsible for this. Now, what I want to do is to be at the front of this spear, to make sure that Equifax regains the confidence and trust of the American people. So my comments here to you, Mr. CEO, are going to be geared to that. First of all, I want to call, Mr. Chairman, and be the first one to call for an investigation by the Justice Department, by the CFPB, and certainly by the SEC. Now, Mr. Smith, you're leaving this company, but there are others who are going to be there, and we have to make sure that Equifax comes out clean and standing tall. Now, what disturbs me, perhaps more than anything, was the timeline. You said you became knowledgeable about this breach on July 31st. But here's what happened. On August the 1st, your executives sold $2 million worth of stock. And not only that, Mr. CEO, former CEO, it was your chief financial officer who led that charge to sell that stock. Now, nobody's going to tell me you're getting information on July 31st, and here they go dumping their stock less than 24 hours later. That has to be investigated and cleared if we're going to get the confidence of the American people back. So it's this insider trading. Anybody can see that. And I'm sure and I hope that your predecessor, the guy who's going to be taking your place, I hope he's listening. That would be the first thing. And then the second thing, we need to make sure that these guys who sold that stock, who made $653,000 in savings from that stock with that inside information, that they paid that money back and that they are fired. 143 million people losing this is no justification. We have got to make sure, and you have got to make sure, that we clean this mess up. Now, I want to talk about the other way in which we can do this. You mentioned numerous times that it wasn't the intent of Equifax to include the arbitration piece. Well, now some have it, some don't. That's the next thing that needs to be done. No more of this arbitration clause. When you do things like that, the public will take notice. Our job is to clean this mess up and make sure we bring Equifax back standing tall. We owe that to the American people. Now, the other thing that I would like, finally, is my staff informed me that most mortgage lenders pull all three reports from the big three credit reporting agencies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experiencing. So when you talk about this new free lifetime lock product, it's not going to be effective unless everybody does it. I wish I had more time, but we're going to clean this mess up, and we're going to restore the integrity and the trust of the American people.